got deja vu saying this. Look who's back.
Back for good.
For good?
Nah. For a while.
Nah.
For a while.
Where were you?
Italy.
Doing?
Skiing.
Terrible. Doesn't know what a day's work is. Or at least a week's work. Good morning, folks. It is Monday. It is a new week in paradise, as we would say. I've just spent an hour or so in the office getting back to quite a lot of emails, and that has been quite successful actually. Making the time to sort of get back to people is something I need to get better at, especially when you get contacted from multiple different places, message or say iMessage, WhatsApp, Facebook, email, and it's like trying to find all these customers and where they've contacted you and blah blah blah, and trying to get back to them. So I just went through everything there thoroughly, followed up on some quotes, got through quite a lot of emails, and yeah, quite a successful Monday. As you've seen there, Damien is back after his endeavour to Italy. He was away skiing, so it's good to have him back. Unfortunately, the weather is pretty dour. Dour is a Scottish term for terrible, bleak, boring, grey. I don't know the actual definition of a dour, but the weather is dour. Yesterday it was about 18 degrees. It was absolutely phenomenal. I was in shorts and a t-shirt most of the day, and yeah, it was a right good hint of summer, but now we're back to some rain. Although we haven't had rain for a good while, but I think it's on for the rest of the week, and it's pretty cold. Nevertheless, we are at that time of year, and it was a bit of a full spring getting that warm weather yesterday. So Damien and Tommy have headed over to the Tomintoul job to get the gates finished off, and then we're pretty much finished there. I've got a joiner coming in to do the handrail, and the builder is going to be shuttering the heat pump and doing the concrete hopefully at some point this week. So we haven't put the gravel around that area yet. We'll need to do that once they are finished. Apart from that, everything else is done. I need to get out there myself and have a look. I haven't seen the turf in person. I've just seen photos. It's been a long job, kind of on and off for the last few months. Good to see the back of it. I'm now heading to get a coffee because I haven't had one yet, and I'm quite surprised how I have been able to function up till now. Mike and Kyle are back at the pink gravel job that we were doing last week. You would have seen in the last video. So they're in the process of getting the type 1 in for the sandstone path, and then Damien and Tommy will be going to join them later to hopefully hang the gates that are there as well. Back to another busy week. So it is a little bit later in the day now. I've just dropped the digger off to one of our lovely clients who has been a customer of mine from the start basically. We've basically transformed this whole garden apart from this front bit here. So we've done quite a lot of work for Jane over the last few years, which has been great. It just shows you the sort of the trust and relationship you build with customers. They'll have you back. So it's good to come back, and we're doing a patio and stuff. Yeah, basically just renewing what was old concrete slabs for something a bit nicer. So she's going for the buff sandstone. So that was the idea anyway. So just dropping the digger off so it's there ready to start in the next few days once this project's finished. I'm now heading to see Mike, Kyle, and I believe Damien and Tommy are going to be there or on their way to join them as well. So we'll go and see what they're up to. And I need to move the digger that's on site there that we've got on hire to another job. Transport manager today. That's the kind of hat I'm wearing. The rain has stopped and the sun has decided to come out to say hello. You may stay for as long as you want, my friend.
Okay, how's that? We're good, eh?
Moral support.
Planned it. Moral support.
Square.
It is.
We've got the referee on the other side here, Kyle. What do we think?
Yes. It's come up a little bit.
He's lost it. He's been skiing.
Oh! Out of rain.
Yeah.
We can tag team. Tag me in. You can do the next one. Yeah. Feel the burn. Right, come on. Embrace the burn. Right, where's that line? table.
Damian.
Oh man. Okay, so that's all mine.
I'm just kidding. He's still got it. So we are at the next job with the digger. We've obviously got this on hire, so it's trying to make that pay for itself and not sit around. Whereas, you know, when our digger's sitting around, it's not that big a deal because the job's almost paid for itself. It's not costing us every second that it's sitting there. I mean, theoretically it is because it's on finance, but you know what I mean. This is on a weekly hire rate, so trying to make this as lucrative as possible and make it pay for itself. So we've got these 2 driveways to do for 2 regular customers. Potentially having a digger driver come in tomorrow to start scraping them back. We could do it, but we're just trying to even ourselves out between other jobs and get through what is quite a busy diary. Just thought I'd come and drop it off tonight. It's here ready to get a start tomorrow. This is one of our regular customers' house, and basically we're going to be redoing the driveway, as you can see. No edging, nothing else going in. We're literally just going to be scraping out the gravel that's here, putting a layer of membrane down. Yeah, just importing the gravel back. So we're going to try and maintain these grass edges that have been here for what is a very long time. Now, ideally you would put some edging in to sort of retain it, but it hasn't been like that before. Yes, we get the odd stone coming on. If it's done properly and prepped and it's whacked, we shouldn't need to have any edging. We're just going to have what I'd call a live edge where the gravel then meets the grass. So we need to make sure that we get some nice clean cuts down either side, so that the gravel can butt up to the grass and yeah, still look neat. So we'll get this puppy unloaded. Roll up the straps. I hate untidy straps. This is probably one of the nicest locations that we have when the weather is nice. I mean, it's still nice here, but it's a bit gloomy and misty and wet. Oh, the sun. Hello. We were just speaking about you. You've decided to appear. That's what we would call golden hour. You're so golden. Do, 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 do. Morning folks, we are in the quarry. What day is it? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, isn't it? So just came through to get a load of chips to get that bolt of garden job finished off. We're probably going to need a few loads, so just going to cart that back and forth. Mike, Tommy, Ed and Kyle are at the job at the moment, getting pushed on, finishing the slabs and also finishing the gates, trying to get everything pushed on and get out of there today. The only thing we will need to do is go back and point the slabs tomorrow once the cement's set. So yeah, but it's good to get away from that job. Damian and Jake's came out to help for a few days, so they're up at a new project that we just started, a couple of driveways, so everything's busy today, really busy today.
How are you feeling this morning?
How am I feeling this morning? Yeah, alright I guess, alright. We're getting there. We're still alive. I've just had my coffee, so that's why I've waited to do the intro before I got my coffee, because I struggled to speak otherwise. I'm struggling to speak now. So we're just back in the pickup heading to get another load of pink gravel from the quarry. So
how many more do you think? How many more trips?
probably another 2 or 3 to be honest. Yeah, there's still quite a big area to fill. The path is now done, or Mike is just finishing it. So once he's out of the way there, we can then get the gravel around the rest of the garden and yeah, try and get finished up. Kyle's just heading back to the yard to grab a bit of box section for the drop bolt for the gate to go in, so it doesn't move. And yeah, hopefully try and get finished up sort of mid-afternoon ideally. And then yeah, the only thing we'll have to do tomorrow is point the slabs. Kyle is just grabbing some slabs as well, some of the concrete slabs that we've got in the yard to replace ones that was broken when we reversed the trailer in. It was already broken anyway, but it just came off its bed, so we're just going to set that back down, make sure that it's all safe.
How you been feeling about the job so far?
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Any major delays or anything?
It's hard to tell because we're kind of back and forth to the job, and I need to get better at sort of tracking the progress and like how long we've been on site, how much materials, etc. Again, that's more of a sort of organisation thing, and just getting on top of it. It's hard when you're trying to get the job done and pushed on and juggle everything else to sort of track who's been there at what time, how long, you know, how many loads of gravel, etc. Because pretty much giving the customer a quote, and if we don't meet that quote, well, so pretty much we've given the customer a quote, and I've usually worked that way is I just give a price and then I work to that price regardless if I'm you know, over margin or under. I don't know whether I'm winning or losing, and it's important to know where I am in terms of efficiency with the guys and everything. Obviously there's 4 guys there just now, so that soon adds up, and if there's, you know, it's knowing whether to have more people on the same job. It shouldn't really matter because, you know, theoretically if you have 4 people over 2, you're going to have, you know, double the production, but it's not really the case if there's not 4 people's worth of work. So it's knowing whether to have 2 or 3 people on the job, or just 2 people, or if you want to, you know, like we've got the 4 guys there trying to get pushed on, and myself running to get material. So yeah, it's kind of hard to know. Something I definitely want to improve on tracking and keeping an eye on.
And what's like your biggest like, I shouldn't have done that?
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't have like any sort of like, wow, maybe you shouldn't have fucking got that. Or there's always ifs and buts, like, oh, maybe should have done that differently or that. But you don't know. You know what I mean? I've bought a lot of vehicles that were probably a waste of time and like cost me a lot of money that were just like, yeah. But like, again, it's just all learning, you know what I mean? You don't know, you just got to do it and then find out the hard way. Yeah, you can learn off people and take people's advice, and that's always good. Fundamentally, you've got to try and figure these things out for yourself, which can be quite scary sometimes, but it is, like, it is scary. Like, nothing about growing a business or, you know, doing something that's going to, I don't know, give you more of an output is easy or comfortable, or, you know, nothing comes from your comfort zone. I'm learning that all the time, and it's like, yeah, it can get quite a lot sometimes. Stress is a real thing, but yeah, nothing comes from your comfort zone. You've got to get out of it. You've got to take risks. I appreciate the time in my life that I am now. I don't have much responsibility. I don't have like kids or a wife or, you know, a mortgage yet. Hopefully we'll get a mortgage soon, but yeah, I don't have that massive responsibility. So now is the time in my life to take these risks, and like, yeah, I have felt like I've been taking a lot of risks lately, but so what? I'm 22. Like,
You meant to.
I've got, yeah, this is the time you're supposed to do it. Don't be afraid to do it. It's going to get a lot harder once you have more responsibility, and it's more of a, yeah, it's a bigger risk if you've got kids and a family at home and stuff to pay for. Like, I've got a lot of responsibility at my age, but nothing that really matters, you know.
What do you think the biggest misconception is about starting a business?
But it's easy.
That it's easy.
That it's easy. Certainly not that. back in the quarry now. We're getting another load. We're waiting to get another load. Over here. I won't crash it, don't worry. This is load number 3. Yeah, 1 or 2 more to go. We'll see how we get on. But it's quite a depth of chips to go in, and it doesn't go very far, but we're getting this done today. I will say as well, makes all the difference having good service. Locally, those who use Colin at the quarry here, just give him a text before you leave and you're coming, and he's there and he's ready to go pretty much. And it just makes it that much easier, because this is quite a monotonous way of running stuff back and forth, and if you're constantly waiting and on weigh bridges and stuff, it is a bit of a pain. When he can just wait in his machine there, load you up, get the cover on and go, it's a no-brainer.
It's been alright. The bottom section was hard graft getting down to the bottom level. There was a lot of chips to come up and a lot of chips to go down, but no, it's been quite satisfying, and certainly the last few days has really come together.
How's the job going so far? You enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. It's good. The weather's the only
thing that's stopping you.
Right now it's good, but like earlier on when it's raining or snowing, it's no good.
Is that the toughest part of the job? Is it just usually the weather?
I'd say so far, yeah. From what I've done, I've not done much. A lot of it's grass cutting and plant and whatnot. I've not done too much of that. I've been doing more fencing or slabs. That's just because of the weather.
It's good to get it finished, I must say. It's been, it hasn't dragged too long, but it's good to get out now. I think the client would be happy with this gone, and then she'll have a nice clean place to walk through without dragging dust through the house.
What's been the hardest part about the job?
It hasn't actually, well, I don't want to jinx it, but it's been pretty smooth going, I must say, the whole job. So yeah, we haven't hit any snags, except maybe the fence post. They had to move that because there was a lot of concrete and stuff underground and a pipe. So we had to adjust the size of the gate based on that. Oh, but yeah, otherwise, yeah, it's been good. Last little bit in the corner and then we're out of here. Another one done!
So this is what we've done so far. Don't know if you remember in a previous episode, probably in the last 2 episodes, this was all just gravel, all pretty plain boring gravel. We have replaced it for gravel, but it's a bit of a nicer colour, and we've also added a new lawn to the garden as well, so it has completely transformed the area. The fence wasn't a part of the job initially, but when we started the job it was apparent that the posts were pretty rotten, so we've replaced the fence, we've got new gates and a new path out the front as well, so the before and afters of this job is going to be pretty good. Down the bottom here was just again pretty boring gravel, the round stuff, which I'm not a big fan of, so we've replaced it for boring gravel again, but it's a brighter colour. It's a lot neater and nicer than it was before, and yeah, hopefully this should be sound and weed free for a number of years. I think the garden was maybe 20 years old, so it served its purpose, but it was definitely time for a bit of a renewal, and that's what we've done. So yeah, just trying to get wrapped up and get out of here. So we're back in Tomintoul, literally just coming back to just check up, make sure everything's how we want it, and to take some before and after photos, because yeah, this has been a complete transformation from start to finish. When we came in here, this was a complete blank canvas. There was just hardcore. The whole thing has just been a complete transformation from start to finish. So we have, from start to finish, replaced all this fence right the way around the property. We've removed a massive mound of soil, including about 5 or 6 spruce trees. We've opened up the driveway. We've added a new fence to the front here, a new dividing fence here. We've created a lawn and a bed following along the fence there. And yeah, just completely tidied up the property. The client is absolutely delighted, and that is the main thing. They put their trust in us after having been let down, quite frankly, by previous contractors. So I'd like to thank them for putting their trust in us and making the whole process pretty hassle free. It makes such a big difference when you've got customers that understand and get it, and they trust you, and yeah, they were just very much easy to deal with, and this is the finished outcome. So everything is pretty in line with the building that is already here, sort of rectangle shape. We've got the lawn following parallel, the path as well, and also the bed down the side. And now they've got this large open space that they can do what they would like with. Obviously quite a big car park, so potential talks about getting a carport made. This mound over here, don't know if you remember, but this mound over here, it was probably about the height at the bottom of the fence there and carried on right the way down, and probably, yeah, it was wide as this. So to dress up what we've cut away from, because obviously the mound carries on down into the other property, we've created this raised planter. Yeah, it's a bit of a feature. Kyle has planted these up nicely with some grasses. I'm not going to pretend that I know what these plants are called, but yeah, it's made a nice job of that, and it's just made a nice feature of what was a pretty ugly spot, and yeah, the customer is delighted. So I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. It's been a long time in the making. We started this back in maybe November, but we've been on and off with the Christmas holidays, the weather, and also other projects. So it's finally good to get this across the line. We still have to get a handrail put onto the ramp. We had the ramp replaced because the one that the previous builder who built the house put in was not up to standard and was pretty poor, to be honest. So we broke out that, and we've had a local builder in to do that. So thank you to them. And yeah, this is the Tomintoul project. Finished. So we're up just outside the back of Grantown, and we've got 2 of our customers' gardens here that we maintain on a regular basis, and we've actually got the go-ahead to redo both of their driveways. So we've got this hired Kubota in here just now, and we've got this track dumper, this Yanmar dumper from Reed Plant Hire. We hire from them quite a bit, so yeah, we couldn't get a wheeled one. They had the tracked one, so we just took that. But yeah, it's been good for them to get all their stuff out. So yeah, they're in the process of just scraping back the gravel from the driveway, which is over here. We're basically just going to be replacing what's there. There's a bit of a drainage issue around the side. We don't know if it's a spring coming up from underneath the ground, so we're going to have to investigate that. We actually also have the go-ahead to do the driveway next door. So we've got 2 driveways side by side, managed to get both customers on board because both drivers are pretty tired. So yeah, it should make a big difference when they're finished. Hello folks, it is Wednesday. I've just taken a load of concrete from the job that Mike and Ed are at. It's a patio for an existing customer that I've touched on before. So the concrete haunching that was in holding the curbs in, there was quite a load of it to be fair. So we've taken all that out and now just heading back in that direction. Damien and Jake are back up at that driveways. They're just pretty much finishing scraping out and tidying up the first one, and then they're going to move on to the second one. We've got a lorry from Richie's. They're going to run back and forth with the hook loader. Ideally would like to have used a tipper to get rid of the stuff, but we don't have the reach with the digger to get into the back of the tipper, so they're going to come in with the hook loader, load them up and then get that gravel out of there. There's going to probably be upwards of 40 tonne to come away between the two driveways consecutively. There's also a bit of a drainage issue that the client asked us to look at. I've had Sean up to have a look from Williamson Groundworks, and Sean's given me his opinion on what it is and what to do to rectify it. So we're gonna basically put in a waving coil pipe to try and divert the water from what is probably a spring or just the water coming off the bank at the back of the house, and it's accumulating in one area. It could have been a burst, but with the way the water is lying, it's more than likely just coming off the bank. And I did ask the customer if it's always been an issue, and she said yes. It does dry up in the summer, but probably because the ground's dry enough to let the water disperse, but obviously being wet in the winter, etc., the rest of the ground's probably saturated. A few of the downpipes as well don't have any sort of outlets or means to let the water drain away. They're just coming from the gutters down the downpipe and then onto the ground, which is causing also damp as well. So we're going to try and get some hoppers in, connect that up to the drain and get it to all go down the side of the house and down a bank. So that is the idea. So we've got the green light to go ahead for the customer. It's something I've not really done much of, drainage. It's more of a sort of groundworks type job, but yeah, going to give it a go, and yeah, hopefully we can rectify the issue for them. So the job has grown sort of arms and legs. Additionally, on the other driveway that we are also doing, they have a drain or a ditch that runs down the side of the garden that carries the water from what is probably an overflow of a borehole or something at the top of the garden. The pipe that carries it through and into the ditch is blocked, and the water is now diverting down the side and just turning the area into a bit of a bog. So we're going to have to take the machine round, scrape away the outside of the fence where it is all kind of built up with sort of reeds and stuff, and try and just basically dig that out and see if we can unblock the drain and get the water to go back through where it's supposed to go. So again, a bit of an add-on for that job, so quite good. Bit more work up there. We've obviously got the machines up there at the moment, so utilising both the digger and the dumper, keeping them busy. Kyle and Tommy are digging out a garden bed that has basically just gotten overgrown, and they want the bed back to blank canvas so they can then plant it up again. I think the customer has a friend that is going to design and plant up the bed, so they have got the job of digging that out back to bare soil. Thought since it being quite cold today, it would be quite good to just get a bit of a labour intensive job, warm up the body pretty quick, because if you're standing around and not doing very much and it's cold and wet, then it's quite a long day. So they're doing that. So 3 jobs on the go at the moment, which is good. always good. I'm just trying to juggle everything. I've got quite a bit of looking at jobs and admin and stuff to do that this is kind of taking me away from. Needs must, I needed to get that concrete away from them. They're digging out what is pretty much just sand from the base of the old patio that was there, or should I say a hard stand. It was more of a hard stand, I think, so they could drive their car up in front of the house, but basically we're going to be replacing it for sandstone, buff sandstone 3x2 slabs in a brick bond pattern. So they're just digging that out just now, working out the sort of heights and levels that we need, and we're probably going to put some curbs in, concrete curbs, to retain the patio. Just trying to juggle everything at the moment, which is exciting, but also, yeah, kind of stressful here, there and everywhere. So what I'm going to probably do now is going to head to MKM and maybe see what we need in terms of drainage. In fact, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back, get a look at what exactly we need. I will be back in this direction to dump more stuff from that job, so I'll go and try and get a list of exactly what I need. I have a rough idea in my head, but it would be good to go and measure, etc. And yeah, we won't be touching that until probably tomorrow anyway, so we have a bit of time to get organised for that. The only other thing is we would probably need to get a micro digger in to do the side of the house. There's like a small gate and we need to get something in there to dig the trench. The big digger will not get in there. Yeah, we'll need to get another machine up to combat that. So I thought I'd just give you a bit of a recap of where I am at today. The weather was pretty miserable this morning. It is kind of dried up a little bit, still spitting, but yeah, it's not snowing yet, so we can crack on. But we are all, I think, definitely looking forward to the summer. So as you can see, the boys have dug out this first driveway. It's looking pretty good. Now, we go back to the question that I've touched on in previous videos. Do you use Taram or do you not? Now, this gravel driveway is hard. It's got a decent sub base underneath it, but it is mucky and it's hard to know what is clean and what is not. But we're in two minds about whether we use Taram or we don't. Now, the majority of driveways that we do, we have used Taram, purely because it's just depending on the condition below the driveway, the sub base. If it is really contaminated with soil, still firm but contaminated with soil, and it has the likelihood of weeds occurring, then we tend to use Taram. But it's a bit difficult to determine whether it's worth using it or not. False economy with Taram is the weeds will then sit on top of the Taram membrane. We use a geotextile type stuff. Over time, if you don't maintain the drive, you don't keep the leaves off it, keep debris off it, all that sort of stuff, leaves, debris, etc., they will break down, turn into compost, and then it's perfect for germination of weeds. Weeds don't need much soil to take, they'll sit on top of the Taram. You're never really going to stop it. We're undecided whether we're going to use it or not. It is quite mucky just now just because it's wet. Yeah, the majority of this is pretty clean. There is some sort of muck mixed through it. It's hard to know what is just sand and, you know, like the dust from the hardcore and what is not. Let me know in the comments. Would you use Taram on this driveway? We also have a bit of a drainage issue that we need to solve. Now, I had Sean up, like I said, to have a look, and he reckons that the water is obviously coming off the bank, has got nowhere to go, and the customer reckons that it's always been wet here. So the way it's formed as well, he doesn't reckon that it's a burst pipe, and it's probably just maybe a spring or something. The water's coming down here and going nowhere. So we're going to dig a drain with perforated pipe round the back of the property here. Pretty stony round here, so we're going to have to dig a channel right round the back here, right along there, and then there's a bank. We're going to hopefully get the pipe to go in out of there, and then that'll carry the water. At the same time, there is no hoppers for these downpipes, so right now this is just a wet area, which is not ideal. So yeah, it's going to get a bit messy in here. Same again, this is actually blocked, but there is nowhere for the water to go when it comes down here. We're going to start the drain from back here and get it to carry the water around. There should be a natural fall going that way. Also, we have actually got one here. I'd imagine that's going into a soak away. We've got a bit of an issue here. There must be an overflow from inside the house somewhere. The customer said that they had a plumber change a valve and it didn't fix the problem. So we're going to see if we can try and get that sorted. Going to call a plumber out. We're also going to try and get a hopper. We're also going to try and get a hopper in here to carry the water that comes away from the tap. It is on at the moment. So yeah, right now if you leave that running or whatever, it just sits there in the corner of the house and stays damp. So if we can get that into some sort of drain, carry it along to there, tie it into this one, and yeah, hopefully that'll divert the rest of the water. So it just seems to be around the back of the house doesn't have any. We do have some here. So yeah, this is 2 customers that we look after on a regular basis. We did mention to that customer that they were working over there before about changing the driveway, getting it refreshed. They weren't really sure at the time. We then had a discussion with this customer. The customer actually asked us if we can give them a price for changing the driveway. I did approach next door neighbour and said, look, we're going to be doing your neighbour's driveway. There might be some savings to be made if you want to do yours at the same time. Gave them a price and got the green light. So we have essentially got 2 driveways back to back here. And if you don't ask, you don't get. I could have just came up here and cracked on, and then a month later, they wanted to get their driveway done. This way we can save costs. We've got the machines on both jobs. We've got material coming away, which is quite a lot. And hopefully there'll be some savings to be made on that basis for myself and for the customer. And it is nice to get 2 jobs back to back. It makes such a difference because both drivers are pretty tired. Round gravel seems to be quite common around this area, the round natural stuff. In my opinion, I don't think it's any use for driveways. It tends to disperse, it doesn't bind together well, it's hard to walk on and drive on, and it seems to be everywhere. Angular stuff, crushed, binds together better and is a better base for a driveway. So that's what we're going to be putting back in here. So this is pretty much ready to go. We just need to figure out what we're doing in terms of the base, maybe sharpen up some of these edges, probably work our way in. It's going to make a big difference. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. These are stacked beautifully. Right. And the bad yourself?
No, thanks, right.
You busy?
Steady getting high, yeah. Are you putting them in?
6, 8, 10. I'm needing 20 more. Some fence rails as well. Fence rails, 38 by 100 fence rails, 3.6. Aye, they're this way, are they?
I put 20 in there.
Ah, that's fine, 50s in a total. 6. I assume these fit in here actually.
Did you get it down and
Aye, just about. How's far, mate? Not bad. That's fit in there, just. Hello folks, it's Thursday and I haven't been filming too much today, to be honest. I was up at Inverness this morning getting some materials and also some tools. Good morning folks, it is Friday. Apologies about yesterday. I don't really know how much was filmed and the sort of structure of it because it was kind of stop-start. I was having issues with the battery on the camera, just didn't really film much. I was up in Inverness getting some bits and pieces with the van, getting some materials for the fence that Kyle and Tommy are rattling away just now, and also just kind of trying to get on top of things again. Oh my god, there's a bus. So it is Friday, it's pretty, I don't want to use the word miserable because it could always be worse. I'm always trying to change my my tone with the weather and remain a little bit positive rather than being negative. Like, there's an element of like realism that comes into it. Yes, it's wet, it's cold, it's kind of hard working, but we can still work. We're still alive. There's so much worse things going on in the world, and I'm just trying to practice that sort of gratitude. But let's be real, it would be nice for some sun. Anyway, I'm just heading out to look at a job for a construction project that has been going on for a while, a local builder, and they're at the sort of finishing stages that they want to start looking at the garden now. The owner of the house is a landscape architect, I believe, so she has designed what she wants, and I've got the plans here to look at, which is new to me, to be honest. I've never really looked at plans and tried to price off of those and work off of those. It'll be interesting to see. There's obviously there's a lot of plants as well that they want to be planted. Full transparency, maybe we've touched on this before, but like planting isn't my forte because I've just not done much of it. I don't have much experience. I'm not that knowledgeable with plants, what should go in where, when they should be planted. I did actually a year in college. I did my SVQ level 2 or level 5 or whatever it is now in horticulture, but the plant side of things never really interested me and I didn't absorb that information. I do like it. I like the plants. I was in the garden centre yesterday picking up a couple of planters for yesterday's job that got finished. I love the garden centre. The garden is an awesome place to be in, and I understand why people invest their money in it. To be honest, I can't wait to get my own place and invest in my garden as well. I think the garden's going to be better than the majority of the house. But anyway, that being said, there's obviously quite a lot of plants there, but Kyle kind of comes from that sort of background. I think he worked in a nursery back in South Africa, and with his own little landscape business that he had over there, a lot of it was plant related. He used to sell pots and everything, and he's a bit more clued up than I am, so it'll be good to get Kyle on board with that and try and get his involvement in terms of letting us know how long it might take to plant up this list, because I find it hard to visualise, and I think most people would, unless you've been doing it for years. When you get a list of plants, it's like, right, okay, what are these? And then how long will it take to get them all planted into the ground, so you can then provide an estimate. So yeah, I'm going to need his help with that, but I haven't seen the house. I've seen it from driving past, but I've never actually looked in, so these plans will come to life when I see it, and it will make a bit more sense about what's going where and everything, which will allow us to put a price together. Kyle and Tommy are finishing off the fence that they started putting posts in for yesterday, just a small fence to corner off an area of the garden for a dog sitter who has a small lawn that is suffering really because of the high traffic of dogs tearing it up when it's wet, etc. So they want to fence that off. It is in a sort of curved shape, so it's funny that a couple of years ago I would have to be on that job site making sure it's going well, because it's quite a complex job, and obviously I want it to be done right, and I'm not sure if the guys could do it right. But now it's at the point now where I'm delegating that to Kyle and Tommy to do themselves. You have to, if you want to progress, delegate, but you also have to do it at the right time. I think if someone isn't competent enough, or you don't have full faith, not even full faith, because sometimes you've just got to be uncomfortable and take the risk and let them make mistakes if they're going to, but also give them the responsibility, let them take it on. If you constantly have to micromanage and teach and show and don't do that, I'll do it because I know I'll do it properly. You're always going to limit yourself, but you've also got to have the right team around you. Now Kyle and Damien have worked for me for over a year now, so well over a year. It's been good for them to take on what is a bit of a kind of complex job. It's trying to put a curve on a fence when you're using straight square posts, square rails and boards. It's quite difficult, but I've not had much to do with it. I showed them kind of what we were looking for, how to sort of do it, and they've went and done it, and they're now putting the boards on. So I just wanted to highlight that part of the growth of this business and like our business is being able to delegate and not constantly have to be in control of everything, because you cannot simply do that, and it will limit the progression of people, and nobody likes being micromanaged. So I'm here at the job now. We'll see what they say. How are we getting on?
Getting there.
Kyle's got his new multi-tool that Santa brought him at Christmas.
Haven't cut my finger off with it yet. Camera. We are busy doing a little fence. Yeah, 900 high. Quite a short one. We following the curve of the existing gravel and lawn. Yeah, the lady's a dog walker, so she's got lots of dogs running around, so she wants to keep them inside so they don't bolt out the gate every time it opens.
So, it's a bit later on in the day now. It's actually 4:15. I just ran 2 loads of material away from Mike and Ed's patio job. Ed has kindly taken the material because he's going to use it at his house, so that's quite handy, and it wasn't far from the job. I've now just picked up a load of dust for someone in town who asked if I could deliver them a load, so I am just away to do that now. I'm going to then head up and see Damien and Jake, see how they're getting on up at the driveways, and I believe Kyle and Tommy should be finishing the fence, or should be finished the fence by now. But I haven't heard anything. Sometimes no news is good news, but I would have expected to have known by now. Maybe they've gotten into some challenges. So that is Robert delivering another load of gravel, the 20mm crushed chip that's going to be going into the driveway. We've had 2 loads delivered, which equates to about 38 tonne. Yeah, that'll get us started at least. I think we're going to need a fair bit more, but we'll get that in, try and recalculate how much we need, and then we'll go from there. I'm just heading up to see them now and see how they're getting on. Driveway all ready to go. I honestly don't think you can get better than this. I'm sure there'll be arguments to that, but it is actually, and I know it sounds corny and cheesy, but it is actually a privilege to work in such an amazing landscape. People pay for views like this. To be able to call this your workplace is quite something else. The guys have done a great job up there. They have rectified a drainage issue that was causing a lot of damp and sort of flooding in the garden. They've also prepped and done all the driveway stuff, so it's pretty much ready for gravel. 2 loads of gravel are there. Tomorrow we might make a start on the drainage, getting it dug out, and thanks to Jake for coming out and utilising his digger skills, and of course Damien for overseeing the job and making it run smoothly. Like I said before and mentioned, Damien, when he first came on board, didn't really know too much about the sort of industry, hadn't used a strimmer before, and being honest, and I've told him this, like my initial thoughts were like, oh god, how is this going to work out? But now he's up there and he's taking on responsibility of overseeing the job and making sure it goes, you know, well, and making decisions, etc. Obviously I get asked questions still, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. You know, they ask questions to make sure that they're doing the right thing and what do we do in this situation, etc. But overall, he has proven himself over a period of time whilst working with me. Now he can go on do his own sort of projects and oversee them and make sure they are executed. But just look at that view. Unreal. All good?
All good.
Did you? How did you find the fencing?
That was good. It's
Yeah.
fine. We got there in the
Got
end.
it done.
We did. Definitely.
Happy customer?
Very much so.
Good stuff.
Indeed.
The odd one out. Needs stickers on it ASAP. So it's Friday evening. The guys have all gone home after what has been a very busy week. And yeah, a pretty good week. We managed to get the Boat of Garten job pushed over the line and finished. Customers delighted. A few other little projects on the go. Kyle and Tommy managed to get that fence finished up, which was good. We're making good progress up at the driveway jobs. It's good to have Dam and Jake on those. And Mike and Ed have been cracking on getting the curbs in for the patio project that we're currently undertaking as well. So everything is on the go at the moment. We are busy. It's trying to juggle different jobs at the same time can be a bit challenging, but we're getting there, and it's really good to get these multiple projects on the go and really start churning out the work, making sure we get that cash flow in. It's just good to see some progression. It really is. The weather has been a bit challenging this week, a bit cold. However, it's still been manageable and we can crack on. I hope you've enjoyed. It has been quite a full-on week, so hopefully a good bit of content for you guys to see. And if you are enjoying these videos, please make sure to drop a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. It's always good to get feedback. I always encourage the comments. What you liked about the video, maybe what you didn't, any observations, how you would do things differently. And yeah, generally just knowing that you guys are enjoying these videos will push us on to do more. We've got some big plans for the future, but thank you for following another week in the life of a 22-year-old business owner up in the Highlands of Scotland trying to make something of a small landscaping business. So we will be working tomorrow on Saturday. Damien and Jake are coming out, but it is my time off from the camera. So it's goodbye from me, and I will see you next time. Cheers.